Now let's go ahead and go into division. Division, pretty much kind of like multiplication. And we are going to go ahead and look at this example here. So this example that we have it as 1.5 times 10 to the negative 8. This is division. And then 6 times 10 to the 9th. If it's written out all the way like sideways itself, I like to write it this way because it reminds me what I need to go ahead and do. And let's go through those steps. So first step that we need to go ahead and do is to combine the front numbers. So we're going to combine those front numbers. And we're going to say 1.5 divided by 6. Second thing that we need to go ahead and do is to combine the 10s together. And I like to write them like this because, again, it reminds me we're dividing those and it helps me understand kind of a little bit about the division kind of stuff. All right, and going into step 3, we're going to divide those front numbers. Let's do 1.5 divided by 6, and that is 0.25. Then we're going to go ahead and divide the 10s together. If we do that, so the shortcut, remember the way that we do it, is we're going to do negative 8 minus 7, like a positive 7, because we can cross those out, right? But I'm going to go ahead and show you even the longer way of doing it. And so we know that negative 8 is an exponent. It's negative, and we have to move it to the bottom with the 7. So we have 1 over 10 to the 8th over 10 to the 7th. We can go ahead and combine those together. And we're going to go ahead and get 1 over 10 to the, it says 11 there, but it should actually be, let's change it to 15. So there should be a 15 right here, okay? And so we have those. Again, at the beginning, we have the 0.25 times 10 to, times 1 over 10 to the 15th itself. So we are writing it as a good scientific notation number. Last thing we need to go ahead and do is check to see if it is a scientific notation, good scientific notation number, right? So if we look at the first part, we have 0.25. And remember, as far as the 1 over 10 to the 15th, scientists do not like it as 1 over 10 to the 15th. We like it more as the just 10 to an exponent. So remember, if it's down on the bottom, we know that we can go ahead and make it as a negative exponent, right? And we can work at it and get 1 over, and again, that number was wrong, so I need to change my number. So it should be 1 over to the negative 15. So again, we check, okay, is this a good scientific notation number? Oopsie, there's a problem up the front. So we need to go ahead and change it. We need to go ahead and move the 0.25. We need to move that decimal over. And we are going to move it. We're going to go ahead and move it over. So that it's over to being the 2.5. Again, we moved it 1 decimal place, and we're going to go ahead and subtract off 1. So we're making, it's a big number, it's going to tend to making it smaller. So we're going to go ahead and subtract off 1. And we have as 2.5 times 10 to that, and our number was wrong in the first place. It should actually be, this is negative 15 minus 1 to be negative 16. That's our final answer. So let's go ahead, let's put it into our calculator. 1.5 times 10 to the negative 8 divided by 6 times 10 to the 7th. Final answer is the 2.5 times 10 to the negative 16, which we got before when we did it by hand. Let's look at our last example. And we have 5.8 times 10 to the 8th divided by 4 times 10 to the negative 3. So again, we're going to go ahead and combine our front numbers. So 5.3 divided by 4. Combine our 10s, 10 to the 8th divided by 10 to the 3rd. Divide 5.3 times 10 to the 4th. We get 1 0.325. We're going to go ahead and divide these exponents here. So the short way of doing it is 8 minus a negative 3, or we can take that negative 3, bring it up here to make it a positive, and then combine them together. So we get 10, we have 8 times 10 to the third times 10 to the 3 because we wanted to make it a positive. And then our final answer would be 1.325 times 10 to the 11th. Again, we can go ahead and put it in our calculator. So we have 5.3 times 10 to the 8th divided by 4 times 10 to the negative 3. What do we get? We get the 1.325 times 10 to the 11th. And then that's our final answer. So today we talked about dividing, multiply, and dividing scientific notation. Hopefully you can understand it a little bit better.